Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today I'll be making a video that I've really been wanting to do for quite some time. I just haven't gotten around to it, and as you can see by the title, it's going to be my Studio Ghibli Blu-ray collection. Studio Ghibli is my favourite animation studio company of all time. It beats Pixar and Leica and Disney and all those other ones for me because it's just so much more unique and original. And I love all the hand-drawn artwork in their films. It's not just relying on computer animation and CGI and things like that. It's all actually hand-drawn, so what you see on the screen is has been, you know, drawn by artists and stuff and put together to move and everything, and it's just really creative and fun to watch. So the studio has around 22 films in total if you include Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind and their TV movie Ocean Waves, but I only have 15 of their films. I have seen all 22 of them, but these are just my favourite ones. So I've got them in order of year that they came out. So we'll start back in 1986 with their very first official release, even though most people, myself included, include Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind as their first film. But this is Castle in the Sky, or Laputa Castle in the Sky, directed by Hayao Miyazaki, the leading director at Studio Ghibli. And this is one of my favourites, actually, if not my favourite film by the company. It's just a really fun adventure film for the whole family. It's non-stop action and adventure, and just you'll hear me say a lot of similar things about all of their films as far as the originality goes and the creativity and just the awesome artwork and designs in characters and backgrounds and settings, as well as the awesome musical scores by Joe Hisaishi, who did all the music for Miyazaki's films from Ghibli. So this is the Blu-ray and DVD disc. Both have the same artwork on this release. Most of the other releases have individual artwork on each disc, but I really like that they all come with the slipcover too, and they all have that kind of uniform look about them. So that's the first one, Castle in the Sky from 1986, a really fun adventure film. And then we have one of the studio's biggest films, My Neighbor Totoro from '88, also directed by Miyazaki. This was the first Ghibli film I ever saw, actually. I started watching their films about 2 years ago and just loved them. I mean, I don't love all of them, obviously, otherwise I'd have them all, but 15 out of 22 is not bad, and I really like all of these movies. This one's more of a kid's film, but it's just really cool, and I would have loved to have seen this as a kid because I think I would have had even more appreciation for it. So as you can see on the inside, they have different artwork for each disc on most of them. So that's the Blu-ray disc and the DVD release. So that's My Neighbor Totoro. Once again, awesome artwork, awesome soundtrack, everything like that. Next, from '89, the following year, is another one by Miyazaki. Most of these films are by this director. He's the main director of the company. And this is Kiki's Delivery Service from '89. This is quite a good film. It's not one of my favourites of this collection. A lot of people love it. I think it's really good, but I think there's a lot better films by the company. DVD and Blu-ray, individual artwork. I'm just trying to keep this video a bit shorter, unlike the last one that went a bit over time. But anyway, that's a really good movie. So next is the 1991 drama film Only Yesterday. This one's a bit more of a adult aimed film, or teenagers even. It won't interest kids because it's more of a serious film, and that's what I like about this company. They'll branch out and do, you know, they'll do kids movies and they'll do fantasy films that are just really out there and crazy, but they'll also do really grounded films that are realistic and even based on true stories and stuff. So this one was by Isao Takahata, who actually only died a couple weeks ago, I think, which is really quite sad. I think he was in his 80s though, but yeah, he was one of the founders of Studio Ghibli along with Miyazaki as well, so he was the second leading director, I think. He only made about 5 films for the company, but this is my favourite of the 5 that he did. He also did Grave of the Fireflies, which was a really sad and dark film. Probably the saddest and darkest film the company has ever made. Most of their films are actually quite upbeat and cheery and happy and feel good, but that one is very just hard to watch even for an animated film. But anyway, Only Yesterday is a really great movie. Highly would recommend it, and it's pretty underrated too. So next, from 1995, we have Whisper of the Heart by Yoshifumi Kondo. This guy, I believe, only directed the one film for the company, and he passed away not long after. I think he was going to actually step up and be one of the leading directors and make more movies, which is quite sad because this was a great film and it would have been really cool to see what else he could have done. But yeah, great artwork in this movie. I really love this one, and even though the cover looks like really fantastical, that's just a dream sequence in the film. It's actually a very realistic and grounded movie apart from that. So that's the DVD and the Blu-ray there. Next up we have another one of the studio's biggest film, Princess Mononoke from 1997. Another one by Miyazaki, and this is probably their most violent or graphic film. As you can see, there's even blood on the cover. It's not over the top or anything like that, but it's not really a kids movie either, but it's a really epic, big kind of film. It's probably their most epic and full-on action movie and adventure film as well, and it's really cool. This is the one I watched most recently, actually, with my brother. We watched it probably about 2 months ago, and yeah, it's a really cool movie. Quite long as well, it goes over 2 hours, but I really love these scenes in the forest as well with these little forest spirits and stuff. So that's the DVD and Blu-ray. These releases are really cool, but they actually have started releasing them again in the US, in America, by G Kids, and those Blu-ray releases look amazing. I would have loved to have got those releases, but I think they're just region A locked anyway, and these ones aren't too bad. So next we have My Name Is Yamada, another one by Isao Takahata, and I got this one for Christmas. This is the most recent one I've bought, and it's probably my least favourite of these ones I own. As you can see already by the cover, the animation style is quite different and quite simple, more like comic strip, but this one's just a light kind of family comedy about a family, and it's not really a linear, straightforward story. It's lots of little just stories about their life and stuff like that, but it's not too bad. I haven't seen it for a while, but this one's another one with the same artwork on both discs. Another thing that's cool about the US releases is they have artwork on the inlay cover as well, so there's just more to look at and stuff, and they also each come with a little booklet. So next up is probably the studio's biggest film of all time, and that's Spirited Away from 2001, another one by Hayao Miyazaki, and this actually won the Best Feature Film Academy Award back in 2001 as well for Best Animated Movie, which is a pretty big thing for a Japanese animation company. That's never been there before. But the DVD and Blu-ray, and this is probably the film I'd recommend people to watch to get started with the company. This one and My Neighbor Totoro, and probably Howl's Moving Castle as well. So that's from 2001, and it's such a great movie. It just gets so bizarre towards the end, but yeah, such a great movie. Next we have Howl's Moving Castle from 2004, which is another one of my favourites. I didn't like it as much the first time I saw it, but then I rewatched it and really liked it a lot more. And I think this film's probably got the nicest looking hand-drawn animation out of all of their films. It's another one by Miyazaki. Back. Inside you get different artwork as well, but yeah, you can just see even by the images how nice the hand-drawn art is in there. And I would recommend listening also to all the musical scores in Miyazaki's films by Joe Hisaishi, because they're just incredible and amazing. Next up we have a pretty underrated one actually. It's Ponyo from 2008, and this is probably their other more kids focused film up there with My Neighbor Totoro. It's a bit more of a light-hearted fun kids movie, but I really like this one. It was one of the first ones I saw. The animation's a bit more basic, but I think it looks beautiful, and it is one of my favourites as well. I love the storm sequence and everything. I think it's just a really fun and creative movie, and this is one of the ones I would also recommend starting off with. So this one's set out a bit differently. It's got a book there, and Blu-ray and DVD with the same artwork. So this one came out in 2008. So these last few, we start with Arrietty from 2010, or The Secret World of Arrietty as it's called in other countries. But this is a remake, I think, of a story. Most of their films are original stories, but this is based off of a book or something like that. I can't remember, but I don't know how to pronounce this director's name, Hiromasa Yonebashi. I think he directed another one of their films that I'll talk about in a minute, but this one's quite good, really nice animation. Probably not one of my favourites of theirs, but it looks really good. And Blu-ray, that's the Blu-ray and DVD. Next we have another underrated film. It's from Up on Poppy Hill from 2011 by Goro Miyazaki, so Hayao Miyazaki's son. He also directed Tales from Earthsea, which I don't own because it wasn't really that great of a movie, but I really enjoyed this one, and it's another underrated one for me that doesn't come up enough in people's top lists, but it's quite a simple story. Another one that's based more so in reality, but it looks really nice and has a great soundtrack too. As you can see, the nice artwork there. I just love their backgrounds and settings and everything. They look so cool. So that's from Up on Poppy Hill. Then in 2013, they released 2 films that year, the first of which is The Wind Rises, which is the most recent film by Miyazaki before he retired, and he's actually supposedly come out of retirement and is working on another film for the studio right now, which is pretty amazing. And this is actually based on a true story. Great artwork here. It's not one of my favourites again, but I still really like it. Cool artwork on both discs there. And on the back, there is a nicer cover. Some of the US releases have nicer images on the cover, but this one's still not too bad. It's a bit basic though. And the other film they did that year was The Tale of the Princess Kaguya by Isao Takahata, the guy who passed away recently. And the artwork is very different in this one as well. He likes experimenting with different art styles in all of his films, so as you can already tell by the cover and the back. And this one is, I think, possibly their longest film, or it goes for around the same time as Princess Mononoke anyway, but that has similar artwork on both discs again. And so the last movie I have by the studio is their most recent one from 2014, and that's When Marnie Was There, and it's a really good movie, one of their best ones. Their artwork's incredible and everything like that. It's a great story as well, and one of my favourites. And yeah, so the studio kind of went under after this film on a hiatus, but they're, like I said, supposedly coming back with one more film that's in the making right now, which will be great because, yeah, they did about 22 films, but I'd still really like to just see more and see them keep going, just because of how good they are. And I think this one's got the same artwork on both discs again. Yeah. So thanks for watching this video, guys. That's all 15 of my Studio Ghibli films there. Please comment below, let me know which ones you like, which ones you've seen, or which ones you'd like to see or hear more about, and I'll get back to you. So thanks again for watching, please subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.